This conference will now be recorded.
So we are discussing exception topic, right?
Yeah.
So in the exceptions, yesterday's session, we have seen how do we test the different types of exceptions, what is try and except block, and then we have seen try with multiple except blocks, try, except, and finally block, and then we have seen custom exception, right? So how do we write a deposit exception, and when we call check method, how we call that? So this is the different types of exceptions we have seen. Similarly, invalid age exception, where if the age is not between 1 to 100, we have to throw the exception. We have to raise the exception. Whenever it is raised, we need to handle it. Handling means try and accept you need to write. So this is the different types of exception handling mechanism we have in Python, like to handle the exceptions. Next is in Python, like utility classes we have called as date and time calendar. And a file have we done file operations, reading from a file, writing into a file? This is done, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Files is completed. Data structures are also done, like lists, sets,
Yeah.
tools, and dictionaries. I will share this document. You guys can go through. Okay.
Mm.
This is all Python basics PDF. I will upload this into GitHub. Next is today's session. We'll be continuing with the date and time.
Okay.
So if you wanted to display current system date, right? First of all, we need to import the time package, and then within the time we have multiple functions, right? So time app.py import time. It's a library, and
Yeah.
then if you wanted to print various features from this time, so time just gives the time, local time, make time, okay, and then daylight time, whatever the type of operations you wanted to do, you can just try to print it. Similarly, all these are predefined, you don't need to do any logic here. Time dot local time. Now if you are going to run this, okay, you will get the output. Save it. Dot to string we have to do. So it is showing in the form of an object, okay? Now, if you wanted to display the details, make it as function. So format is displaying the type of the object that it is going to return. If you give a function, it is going to give you the output. And further, you can do datetime manipulations as well. So here is a datetime API where it is showing your in the form of milliseconds. And then local time, it is going to give you year, month, day, hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds. Okay, that all the parameters it gives. So suppose if you wanted to display the time dot local time, if you display in the form of a time format, okay, you can get like a key value pairs. You get like a key value pairs. Similarly, ASCII time you wanted to get time dot ASCII time. It returns the formatted time instead of simply giving the difference between time and then ASCII time. You can see. So now it is going to show in this format. So here time dot ASCII time and give your local time dot time values. So
It
you
says I have
need
an
key.
error at time dot local time, time dot time.
Yeah, time dot local time is to display your all the date and time values.
Yeah.
Time is only to get in this format, numerical format. It just
Oh,
gives milliseconds.
okay.
Okay. So here you can print a time value and then you can print a key value pairs. Here you can print in ASCII format. Means like a date time format you can print it. So here local time is a function we are using, right? Local time is displaying in this format. Now if you wanted to display a specified date, custom date, or you wanted to display current date, right? Sometimes you have to take your own date in your application. So here you need to import date time. Another module you need. So the
What does
date
date
time,
time mean?
is another package, okay, in which we have functions called as date time of. There is a constructor. You wanted to create custom date,
Uh,
okay. Let's say 5th of March. You wanted to create a date. If you give datetime dot now, it says today's date. Okay. So see the format of your time function, format of date time function. So there's a different format. This is ASCII format. This is a simple format of date time function. In date time, when you create a custom object, year, date, month, okay, and then hours, minutes, seconds is default. Now, if
oh,
you say
so datetime is you set the own time, and then dot now is right now time.
yes, this is a custom time, custom date means any date we wanted to declare, date of joining for a given year, given month, given day, then you go for that year, day, month you need to pass. Further hours, minutes, seconds also you can give 6 hours, 8 minutes, 90 seconds. If you give, it will take Must be in 0 to 59. Okay. See here, hours, minutes, second. So 6 hours, 8 minutes, 9 seconds it is taking. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So this is to create a datetime object. Similarly, here is along with the hours, minutes, second. That's what I am showing. Next is there is another datetime function called as calendar. If you print a calendar, using calendar also you will be able to create the calendar, the date manipulations. So import calendar. Now calendar of give no module bound calendar TR. So here if you wanted to print a month range, month number, month name, month abbreviation, okay, all that possible. It is showing the calendar of the given date.
It prints out the whole calendar.
Yes. Calendar dot so now specific month you wanted to print. Okay, you can check for that, and then if you wanted to print
Can you print a week?
yeah, calendar dot should support yeah, weekday is also possible.
Uh,
Given.
oh, the week one has an error.
Mm.
Oh wait.
It is taking only two arguments it seems.
Yeah.
Day, festival, and the week. Maybe calendar week function argument is wrong. Not it. We will say calendar dot March, comma. So what are all the updated functions are available with the latest libraries? We'll see.
Mm.
Okay. Calendar dot we are specifying year and day. Okay. Calendar dot is leap year, you can check. Calendar dot month range. If you give, you can display the number of days. Calendar dot html calendar. What is this type? We'll see. So it is displaying 2025 second month, February. Suppose if you make it as third,
It's the
okay,
same.
the March month.
It was always March, even
Yeah,
when it was 2.
yeah. And I print a calendar HTML. That cal is here, calendar of Sunday, right? It is showing 2.
Mm.
Similarly, iterating over the days of a month. Let's say you have the month day, you just wanted to print all the days in that month. Okay, then you can use for loop. So first you create calendar already imported on the top, calendar. Okay, and inter month days 2025 February. February 1st to last, all days you wanted to print. Print the day and till end. So it is printing all the days in the February month up to 28. Suppose if you take January, it will display the number of days 31. March, it will print again 31. If you take April, it should be up to 30. Okay. So this is how you can iterate the number of days from the given date. In the calendar module, what are the other features are there? Year and month you can give, you can print a calendar that we have done, and a calendar of the complete year. Okay, if you pass an year, it is showing the whole year calendar simply. Right, Jan, February, March, all the months it is printing. If you pass only the month, specific month, right? It just display only that month. Only one time, huh? This is. Just it is printing number 8 only.
Yeah. 8th month.
number 30 it says error. Module object is not callable. Do you mean calendar?
Wouldn't you just do print calendar.month 2025 8?
And here calendar it is saying.
Oh. Calendar 8. No.
It's not printing.
It's not printing anything now.
So here you wanted to find the number of weekdays, month days, okay, and then month days 2, inter month 3, 4. It is nothing but interval of 3, 4 you can maintain. Month days calendar, days 2, year days calendar. These all predefined functions are there. Format the month, format the year, per year. So these are all functions you can use. Suppose format month. Positional parameter. It is written in the string. So it is just printing the object. From the text calendar, okay, from the text calendar, if you wanted to dot uh, first weekday, and the calendar should be calendar dot any month you can select. So you have to select this. First weekday means in the April month, okay, you will have first weekday would be the 4th day. Likewise, all our predefined functions, we have nothing to do here. Everything is inbuilt functions we have to apply. HTML calendar means it edit the calendar as per our requirements. We can do some modifications. Formatting the year page, formatting the year, formatting the month can be done. And this is simple text calendar. So many functions are there with date, time feature in Python. Okay. Now I just give you all these features. The chat. Next is called multi-thread. How do we perform threading in Python? So thread is nothing but it is used to perform dynamic operations within Python. Like if you wanted to work with responsive applications where we wanted to divide the task into a number of threads. Then we use thread as a module. Thread is a module used to implement a thread. When we wanted to divide the task into number of threads and we wanted to execute it parallelly, so then we implement multi-threading. So far in all our programs, it is called as single-threaded programming. Single-threaded programming means the whole program is divided into one single thread. Okay, this is a program you have written. So programming execution path starts. It sequentially executes the each and every line and finally it provides the result. But here what happened? It will create a thread and in which child thread we can create and we can run execution parallelly. How do we create a thread? First you need to import a thread module and then here there is some function called printing of today function and afterward you are calling that function. It's a simple function, right? Now there is another function called print time in which you are passing the thread type and there is a delay. We should print that delay whatever you pass 1 second or 2 seconds and count equal to 0 to 5 means 5 times it should print the time. Okay, time dot c time dot time means what? It prints the current time, right? But how many times it prints? 5 times. But in each time there is a delay. Time dot delay means okay, there is a waiting time in between, like a digital clock. It is going to display the time. Suppose if you call that function only but by one thread will be printing your time. But you want to do this is without multi-threading, means write a function, call it. But here write a function, you are calling it by multiple threads. Where are the multiple threads? See here, underscore thread dot start new thread. It's a predefined. What this start new thread is doing, it is going to create a new thread calling the print time function with the thread object 1 and sleep time is 2. Second, one more is sleep time, you wanted to make it as 5 milliseconds. So both the threads are started. One is started printing time, other is started printing time. So alternately both the threads will be printing. Here it is taken care by single thread. Single thread means there is a main thread is created in the program that is going to run this application.
Right.
See here, first this is by single thread. So simply it is printing today. Okay. But now later thread 1, thread 2. Again thread 1, thread 2. Because there is a difference in the delay time, right? Here delay time is 2 seconds, 2 milliseconds. Here it is 5 seconds. So by the time second thread comes, first thread can execute 2 times. Okay. So now both are printing the current time. Now let's say you wanted to print only one thread. Comment 1, save it, run it again. Only one thread will be printing the with a delay of 2 milliseconds. You can observe here every time 2 seconds. So 38, 40, 42, 44, 46. 5 times it is printed. Right? But I wanted to print this time by 2 different threads parallelly with the same difference. Now you run it. But here you cannot predict which thread is getting a first attempt. Okay, sometime it may take one, sometime it may take two, and by the time the whole logic is completed, all threads finish its logic, but we cannot predict which is coming first, what coming is next. That we cannot predict.
Okay.
Yeah. This is all about a simple thread. Any thread logic you wanted to perform some logic to execute, then you can give. Whenever it completes, then you can stop executing your application. So whereas here without multiple threads, whereas here print time function is called with multiple threads, two threads we created. Similarly, if you wanted to add more number of threads, create as many number of threads as you want. Thread dot start new thread of. Here which function you would like to call. Here let's say there is a different function you want to call. Okay. Here also if you wanted to give a sleep of 10 seconds. Now you can do call the function name is say message comma your thread name. What is your thread name? Thread name you can give any custom name. Okay.
Okay.
Child thread we can give, and delay you don't need to pass because here we are not passing any input. As here we are passing the delay, we need to pass the delay from here. Here we don't need to pass because we are not passing it. And we are passing the delay amount directly. Now there are three threads are started. It says unable to start a thread, right?
Hmm. What is time dot sleep?
Time dot sleep will get take a delay. How much of delay you specify? For example, delay I am taking here 2 milliseconds, right? So that much of time it will take a delay.
Uh,
So here time dot this delay of will pass thread name and delay we are passing, and it is printing. Instead of welcome to threads, you can also print dot format of what is that thread name comma delay. Let's do now. Yeah, it is starting two threads. It is printing it is calling the thread and it is printing the thread name and delay time, right? You have created the third thread as well. But when you call, whereas print time has a while loop, so it is printing 5 times. But your time sleep has how many times? Is it a loop or
10,
simply
right?
there's no loop, right?
No.
So that's the reason it is just printing one time. If you wanted to print it for I in 5, if you say here it should be. So how many times it will print? Will it take 5 times? Or else you take the same count I equal to 0 and then while I less than 3. You wanted to give 3 times, okay? Then I equal to I plus 1. So how many times it should return now? Sleep off, make it as 2 seconds, not 10 seconds. Or you are passing the delay, right, from here to, so you give that sleep off delay only. See here, these threads are running for 5 times and our thread is running for how many times? 0 to less than 3 means 0, 1, 2. 3 times it should print. 1, 2, 3. Got it?
Yeah.
Ear- Earlier there were 2 threads. Now we have added one more thread. One more thread with one more function. It is a custom function with the name thread you can pass. Generally thread names will be starting with thread underscore 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay. You can give any thread name for that. Let's say there is a thread called producer, consumer. Okay, likewise you can change the thread name. Producer is generating some numbers, consumer is receiving those numbers. Okay, you can change that thread names. So this is how multi-threading can be achieved with Python, like to divide the task into number of threads. Okay, dividing the task by multiple threads and making our applications more dynamic and reducing the response time. So reducing the response time means instead of making that entire process by one single application and making it slow, we can divide the task by number of threads. So we can make that program as executable. So in the Python threading, internally there is a thread scheduler that will take your thread object every time. Let's say we are creating thread 1, thread 2, thread 3. So who will control and monitor this switching between one thread to another thread? So how the control is taken care by first thread. By the time first thread is going to sleep, second thread should come and it execute. So it should divide the task by multiple threads. Means whenever you say new thread object is created, first thread is created. So let's say thread 2 is created, T1 and T2. So two threads are created. First, it get a chance to execute. That is called running state. When it is running, it will make this thread to sleep for some time. Means non-running state or blocked state. So when it is going to block, the other thread will get a chance. It will enter into run state. Then when this is going to blocked state, again this will come back and execute. So likewise, alternately, both the threads get executed. So here there is a thread scheduler program. So this thread scheduler will be looking into providing the cycles to thread 1 and thread 2. So continuously it will be monitoring the threads. That is what is switching between thread 1 to thread 2 and thread 3. So while execution, here if you can see, first the thread is started. Any one thread get a chance. See here, not based on the order we give. See, sometimes if you run the same program again, consumer may get a first chance or child may get a first chance. That depends. And next, once one thread is started, okay, then it will continue with the remaining number of the threads. So welcome to threads child 2. Next, it is giving a chance for third thread. Then it will switch the control from the current thread to other thread based on the sleep timings, based on their logics involved. Here, how much time it is taking, what logics it is doing. Accordingly, it takes that time for execution and it takes this thread to sleep. While it is sleeping, other thread will get a chance. That is how switching happens all the time between the threads. Who will take care of that switching is thread scheduler program. And internally, every thread will maintain thread ID, unique ID is assigned, and that is a pointer and state of the thread. Thread can be a running state, ready state, waiting state, start state, and done state. It means when your first thread is created, this is called new state, and then ready state, ready to use. So whenever it is started, okay, it starts execution. Now, when it enters into this method, either print time or this method, when it starts, this is called running state. Okay. Now, when the whole logic is completed, when it is end of this method, then it is called end state. So that is the different states we use in the threads.
Okay.
So process is heavyweight program to create it reads multiple resources and we need to create. And whereas thread is a lightweight, just as part of the program you can create a thread and you can start applying any logic to the thread. Here you created a thread and you assign the logic of print time method or logic of say message to one thread. One thread you assign this task, other thread you are assigning the other task. This is how keep on applying the task to the different threads. Create as many threads as you want.
Okay.
So here in the inside the thread scheduler, the process is following this. Every process has its own state, container, its memory, and once it is done, the process is closed. So those processes are kept in the stack memory. One after the other, the process is getting executed. Even in the threads also, when you create multiple threads, okay, there is certain values are shared by multiple threads, which is called global variables. Those values are stored in the heap memory. There is some static variables you are using by the stack set of threads that you are using. They are stored in the stack memory. Every thread is nothing but one execution path in the program. Generally, there is a single execution path. Whenever you make a child threads, the number of paths are created. Means earlier, in all our previous program, there is one path only. But now we divided that execution path by thread 1, thread 2, thread 3. three threads. Two threads are running this function. One thread is running this function. At the time these two are running this parallelly, in between this is also getting executed because of thread. Otherwise, it is in the sequential path, right? So it is in the single path it get executed. What is the benefit of creating these multiple threads in the program is, especially when you're creating gaming related applications. Okay, multitasking is needed in your application to improve response, to reduce the response time, to improve the performance of the application. We implement multi-threading. Okay, so first of all, you need to import that mm, threading module. Okay, on the top underscore thread is the one module. We have called another module, different version, threading module. So how do you create a thread? Threading dot thread, you give the thread name and arguments.
Wait, what is an
In place of
argument?
arguments, you will have the,
What do
sorry,
you put in args, man?
args is a argument that we pass. Generally, in our application, we are passing the argument, right? What are the arguments we are passing? Thread name and delete time.
Oh, okay.
Further, we can pass any number of arguments that we need to pass it here.
So that works as it produces producer, and then every 2 milliseconds it
Yes,
produces,
yes,
it prints out producer again and again.
yes.
Okay.
So to start the thread, we need to provide again start method separately. This is an older version, right? Threading module is an older version with where you need to start it explicitly. Whereas here, you don't need to start it. When you say underscore thread dot start new thread method, itself will start the thread. Okay. So
Yeah.
sometimes version to version implementation differs. So here it is create a thread object, then object dot start if you say it gets started. But in our case, with just start new thread method itself, it gets started. Similarly, end of your application, you need to join explicitly. Object.join, if you say, so what are all the threads you have used in the application? Let's say you created thread 1 and thread 2. So when you create a custom threads in your program, end of your application, you need to close them. Otherwise, these objects are lying down in the heap memory, occupying the memory. So it is your responsibility to close those threads. So that's the reason we make it right here. At the end of the threads, whatever number of threads we created, we will say join. So here is a join is a method which will join your thread. So here we have not created any thread object, right? So if you say thread and then t dot start method, then at the end you need to close it. So here we are using, if any exception is thrown, you will say unable to start thread. If suppose we are trying to ignore it. Now when it says unable to start thread, it will say it will come to the cache block. Producer consumer is printing and it will throw the error called
Why is it throwing
unable.
the error?
Yeah. Here the error is I am not passing the delay time.
Oh, okay. So,
If you
okay.
pass delay time, should
So that
execute.
one's going to be quicker, and then those
Yeah.
are going to
Yes.
be a little slower.
Okay.
Do you have to import time if you import thread?
Import time, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have, right?
Is that to say when I got printed out?
Yes.
Okay.
So generally the main program path will be like sequential path, one path. Means in all our previous programs, when you see, let's say all the previous applications, if we can look into, let's say in Python, exceptions or oops concepts, any program if you take, right? So if you take this application, it has one sequential path, only one thread. It is printing simply all the features one by one, and it is printing it. This is nothing but what? Sequential thread and one single thread. Means it is going to execute in one path. This is the single path, single thread. But now we making multiple threads, thread 1, thread 2, thread 3. So parallelly while my main is getting running, the child threads also runs. These are called child threads. So you don't need to close this one. It get closed automatically by Python virtual machine. But this is the threads when we create, we need to close them explicitly. Okay. So that is
Yeah.
what is a join method. At the end we use join method. You just refer to these examples also, and try to understand the difference between process and thread. In thread, what are the methods we have? How do we start a method? And what is run method? And what is, okay, delay? Here, every time we are passing a delay. When we create a thread object, how do we pass the name of the thread? Okay, and what functionality we have to assign to that particular thread? So you need to give the function name. So this is all comes under multi-threading. You can
Okay.
explore till multi-threading and date time, so that we'll be completing this module. And in Python, if you are going with the data science side,
Mm.
okay, like more importance can be given for pandas and the numpy library and matplotlib. Okay, and these are all whatever we're discussing so far is comes under Python basics only. So let me upload this. You need all exception programs, right? Exception and date time and threads.
Mm.
Here threads we have one program only, but there are more programs over here. And the time apps also there. And threads and logs. We will continue logs in the next session, okay?
Oh yeah.
Threads just introduction you can see.
Yeah. Did you put this in the GitHub, right? Third one.
Which one? Yeah.
Third one.
Uh, What else you want me to put?
Just that one. Just third one.
Yeah. Exception, date time and threads. Both I put.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.